Irashaimase! Hello and welcome to Fitaurus Kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Fitaurus. It's time once again for Shoot 'em Up Saturday. And on the menu for this Saturday, we've got Super Galaxy Squadron EX. Now, Super Galaxy Squadron is a title that I've actually been interested in since its original Steam release back in January of 2015. Fast forward a year later to February of 2016, and we go and get the new updated EX version. So I couldn't go and hold off anymore, I had to go and try this game. So what kind of taste will this vertical shoot 'em up go and have? Let's get cooking and find out. So first off, with the menu, we go and have a couple different options as far as gameplay is concerned. There's the arcade mode, which is your traditional shmup action, as it says down below, as well as an endless mode, an infinite randomly generated level, and which was, I've gone and played through it once, and it was actually quite a bit of fun. There's also options. They're relatively simple: screen shake, rumble, volume, controls, and scoreboard. There aren't really any graphic detail settings, but a game like this doesn't really go and need them, and I feel it goes and scales really well to whatever your setup might happen to go and be. So there's the plus, minus there, depending on how you want to go and look at it. So we're going to go ahead and dive into arcade. We've got 3 difficulty settings we can choose between: Hell, Veteran, and Casual. So we'll go ahead and keep things casual today, and then within each of those difficulty settings you have 2 modes as well, normal or hardcore. The primary difference between the 2 of them is in normal you go and have your save states, or the saves that it goes and generates, so you can go and continue, as well as health items so you can go and refill your health bar. Hardcore doesn't have any of that, no checkpoints, no health items, so it depends on what kind of experience you're going looking for. If you want to be hardcore about it, there's a hardcore option for you. So once we go and select our difficulty setting, we go and get to one of the things that I find most appealing about this title and that originally drew me to it, and that's the ship selection. We've got 14 different starfighters that we can go and choose between, which is just an insane amount, and they're all somewhat unique in their fire style, and especially the specials that they go and use, going and representing such a wide array of different shoot 'em up ideas. So this is really where a lot of the fun in the title goes and comes from, going and picking one of these ships, part of the Super Galaxy Squadron, which is supposed to go and be an unstoppable force, and these ships here definitely go and help exemplify that. So they're kind of broken down by color, and within each ship you also go and see the bio for the pilot, as well as the character portrait, age, and their, I guess, nationality. So it's a lot of fun that way. And with all the different ships we have here, there's bound to go and be something for any shoot 'em up fan as far as the style that they like to go and play. So for me, my favorite color is green. So, and I actually happen to go and like both the green and the teal ship quite a bit. So I will go and be showing those ones off today, but guaranteed they all have something to go and offer and are a lot of fun to go and use. So to start, we'll go ahead and pick with the green ship, piloted by VCI 1.6.4, a prototype of a revolutionary AI built to replace human pilots and limit casualties on the battlefield. It was added to the squadron as its first field test. Hyper is Mega Wave, it is 3 years old, and it's a synthetic life form. Sounds good to me. So there are voiced cutscenes between the stage, going and adding a really nice touch of polish to the EX version of Super Galaxy Squadron. But just to go and keep things simple, we'll go ahead and jump past that. There is an option to go and skip them, so that's definitely appreciated. And here we are. Between stages, you do actually have the option to go and swap ships, so we'll actually go and do that after going and defeating this ship, or rather this stage. So we go and see here, one thing that's significantly different between the original Super Galaxy Squadron and the EX version is the space that's utilized in the borders of the game itself. So we go and have our health displayed on the left, as well as our combo meter, then the hyper, and then our power on the right. In the original title, there were just black borders on either side. In fact, here I'll go and cut to just a little bit of gameplay from the original so you can kind of see a little bit of the difference and go and appreciate just the amount of extra polish and detail that was added to the EX version of Super Galaxy Squadron. You can definitely go and see how everything's been changed. All the power-ups go and have nice little extra bits of animation, and just even the addition of the extra UI elements definitely goes and helps create a really satisfying experience, I feel. But that said, there is something about the classic presentation of the original Galaxy Squadron that is endearing as well. So the fact that going and purchasing this on Steam goes and nets you both, that's definitely a plus. So anyway, going and talking a little bit about what we've got our basic shot, obviously, but in addition to that, we also go and have a special that we can go and activate, the Hyper. And for this ship, it's that awesome triangular wave that goes and bounces back and forth, going and dealing damage on the stage, as well as going and clearing shots. And when you activate it, there is also a brief period of invulnerability on your part, so you can go and use that to go and get yourself out of some tight situations. We're also going and collecting power-ups to go and level up both our primary and our secondary shot. Going and creating for really satisfying, almost screen-filling amounts of bullets on our end. And in a bullet hell title, it's satisfying to be able to go and throw that much firepower back at the enemy, since they're going and throwing a fair bit at us as is. In addition, if you're going and playing the game with a controller that has rumble enabled, there is rumble turned on, and it's actually a really satisfying experience with how it's used to go and match up with the explosions that the game goes and has within it. Alright, we've approached our first boss. We get a nice little boss intro there. Heavy gunship Helldiver. Well, this is another element that I really like about this title, if I can get there. So we'll use our Hyper, try and deal some extra damage. You can go and destroy parts of the enemy ship, and as you go and do, you go and get a really nice graphical representation of that damage. So I'm not sure if it's really anything that goes and matters that much, but just that little bit of extra graphical flair that we're going and inflicting serious damage on this enemy battleship. Something about that just like is really satisfying to me. And with that, Helldiver is down, and we're on to stage 2. After, of course, the mid-stage cutscenes that we go and get. So here we have the option to go and hold the right trigger or the space bar, depending on if you're using a controller or the keyboard to go and play. And then we can go and select a different ship. So as I said, I'm a fan of the color green, so now that I've played green, we'll go and take the other variant of green, teal, which is piloted by the alien Teal. One of 2 SETI defectors, Teal was an accomplished scientist whose loyalty faded after being assigned to projects he found morally questionable. 68 years old, he's a SETI, and the Hyper on this ship is the Big Laser, which I find beautiful. There's something really satisfying about going and piloting a starfighter and your weapon is just a giant beam of laser death. In addition to that, the secondary fire on this particular ship happen to go and be little options that go and fire beams that go and home in on enemies, going and helping to go and cover a lot of space on the screen, even though the beam itself just goes and fires in a straight path in front of us. And once we go and build it up, the Hyper for it is an even bigger beam, which, you know, I can't begin to go and tell you how satisfied I am by the firepower that the Teal ship happens to go and pack. So in addition to all of the various starfighters that you have the chance to go and select from, there's a really nice amount of, well, detail and care put into all of the starship and starfighter designs that are present within the game. And they go and remain pretty consistent as well, so it does go and give you a firm feeling that you're going and fighting a unified alien force, as it were. Add to that like the awesome soundtrack that the game goes and sports, and some really fun backgrounds. Although, admittedly, there was something about the backgrounds in the original title that, or rather the original version of the title, that really I find eye-catching as well. And you really do have a great package of a shoot 'em up here. So another really big plus that I can go and give this title, if you're on the fence about going and picking this one up, but you are the type of individual that goes and likes to go and support a worthy cause, then there's even more of a reason to go and pick this title up, as all of the proceeds from the sales of Super Galaxy Squadron and Super Galaxy Squadron EX are donated to the video game charity Child's Play. So definitely, if that's not enough of a reason to go and consider picking up this title, in addition to just how awesome it is from a visual and a shoot 'em up standpoint, I'm not sure really what else I can go and give you. So here we are up against the boss of Stage 2, Great Rift. It's supposed to go and be a ship that I believe assists the enemy forces in mining in this asteroid belt that we've found ourselves in. So the question is, whose giant laser beam is more effective, mine or his? You do go and get a nice little bit of both audio as well as visual indication that he is about to go and fire that, though. That's a really nice touch, and one that guys seems super fair to the player to be able to go and indicate that, hey, you're about to go and get blown away by this. Alright, well, that'll just about go and wrap up my quick look at Super Galaxy Squadron EX. As I was definitely going and saying, this is a title that I would go and recommend. For no other reason, like 14 ships, great selection. But it does go and provide a lot of great shoot 'em up action. There's some really nice touches to it. I do go and like the going and having a health bar rather than lives. Going and having that option to refill your life as well when you're going and playing on normal mode is something that's enjoyable to me. I appreciate being able to go and just continue run and build up just with some lucky power-ups, or, well, just good play, really. There is a little bit of penalty for going and getting hit. Like, if you do go and take damage, then you have the potential to go and lose both your weapon power, your primary and your secondary weapon power. But those can go and be easily reclaimed depending on which difficulty you're playing on. Still, definitely a great shoot 'em up package. One that just goes and happens to feel right in all the right ways. So there you go and have it. Super Galaxy Squadron. Definitely a recommend from the chef. Thank you so much for coming out and joining me today for Shoot 'em Up Saturday. As always, if there are other shoot 'em ups that you would like to go and recommend to me, I'd love to go and hear from you about them. So please leave those in the comments below. Once again, thank you so much for coming out and joining me today for Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and I look forward to going and seeing you again next week.